Hi guys, I wanted to make a video on heartbreak today. I know there are plenty of them, but I wanted to make this one specifically for empaths and sensitives. Now, if you resonate with that, if you are a highly sensitive, empathetic person, you will understand what I mean when I say that we do not feel heartbreak like other people do. And heartbreak is hard enough, but feeling it the way we feel things very intensely because we are so in tune with our emotions and our feelings. It is a superpower, even though it doesn't feel like it right now. I'm making this video to tell you that it is. It is a blessing, even when it doesn't feel like this right now. I do believe everyone has a superpower here, but not everyone's superpower is sensitivity, I'll tell you that much. And when we are surrounded by people who aren't sensitive, they will never understand the way we feel. They will never understand the type of pain that we're going through, especially when we're going through a type of heartbreak. People might look at us like we're crazy, people might look down on us, people might say that we're being overly sensitive, overly emotional, we're being weak, we're being pathetic, and I'm here to tell you that you're not. You are not pathetic for feeling the way you're feeling right now, and anyone who's going through heartbreak, you're not pathetic for feeling that. But specifically for empaths and sensitives, this is your superpower. Sensitivity is your power. You have the capacity to feel this pain, which means you also have the capacity to feel intense feelings of love, and that is a blessing. I know it can be really hard when we are with people who aren't sensitive, and that's what normally happens. We normally attract people who aren't sensitive in the same way that we are, which is actually kind of a good thing because we partner up with people who can balance us out. We have two very sensitive, emotionally sensitive people together. Sometimes it can be too much and we can't handle it. So we do normally look for partners that are a little bit less sensitive or sensitive in a different way to us, just to balance it out. But it can be really frustrating when we are surrounded by people that don't understand the way we're feeling. And it can be a very, very lonely time, and especially with people looking at us like we're crazy or like we're being dramatic or being overly emotional or overly sensitive. They only think that because they do not have the capacity to feel the way you're feeling right now, and they probably never will. And that is not meant for me to be looking down on those people. They just are not meant to be that sensitive. They have not come here in this lifetime to be a highly sensitive person, but you have been, and it is a power that we need to learn to embrace instead of seeing it as a weakness. It definitely is a strength. When we get heartbroken, it doesn't feel like a strength, it feels like a weakness, and you can really start to hate yourself for feeling all these emotions. The intensity of it can be overwhelming, but the capacity you have to feel is truly amazing, and other people might never understand. They might never feel the pain that you do because they'll never feel the love that you do. They do not have the capacity for it, and people will try and put you down and try and make you feel like you're crazy for feeling the way you do because they're only looking at you from their level of awareness. They're only trying to understand you from how they process and feel emotions. Now, if they're not a highly sensitive person, they're going to look at you and think, why is she feeling like this? Why is she acting like this? Why is she so upset when I would get over this like that? It's because we're different. It's because they're not sensitive. They do not feel like we do. And we cannot let them project their stuff and their lower awareness onto us and try to drag us down into that belief that we're being overly sensitive and we're being weak and we're being pathetic and we need to grow up and get over it already. That is not true, and I'm here to make this video to tell you guys that if you're an empath, if you're a highly sensitive person, this is your power, and please don't let anyone tell you that you're crazy for feeling this. And people might try and help you and try and give you advice, but they can only give you advice from their level of awareness, and if they're not a sensitive person, they will be saying it from a frequency or an awareness that you just don't understand. If you're a highly sensitive person and a logical person comes over to you and tries to give you advice on how to get over heartbreak, it's just not going to work. And that's what I've found with all these videos on YouTube, because I've been looking it up. There are so many videos where we are taking the logical approach and here's this step-by-step process on how to get over heartbreak, and we don't work like that. We're very emotional people. It's not a step-by-step logical plan that we need to get through to get over this. These are intense feelings that we're feeling, and these feelings we might feel, but other people might never feel things like this. They might never feel the pain that you're feeling right now, but that also means they might never feel the love that you're feeling. You are so sensitive, you can feel very, very high levels of love, and some people might not even understand what you're talking about when you start talking about the levels of love that you felt, all the levels of pain that you're feeling. They just won't understand because from their level of awareness, they've never felt that before, so they don't know how to help you, they don't know what to say. All they know how to do is project their stuff, their opinion, their awareness onto you, and if they have a lower awareness, they will just try to drag you down, and that is just implanting doubt in you, making you feel like you're weak, making you doubt your feelings and your emotions, and oh, you know, maybe I am overreacting, maybe I am being overly dramatic, maybe I'm being overly sensitive right now, maybe I do need to just grow up and get over it. No, do not let these people get to you. Do not let the logical people tell you to get over your emotions. You're a very emotional, sensitive person. You need to let yourself get through this wave, a totally different way to how they will get through it. They will never feel love like you will. That is your power. And you need to start tapping into that instead of seeing it as a weakness, which I know it feels like a weakness right now. Tap into the blessing of it. The fact that you can feel this pain means that you have the capacity to feel amazing, amazing levels of love. And other people might never feel that ever. So you need to feel very, very lucky to be able to have this capacity to feel and have this level of sensitivity. It's not always good. It's not always fun. But it is a blessing, it is a superpower, and it is something that we need to learn to master. That's what we've signed up for in our lifetime if you resonate with being a empath or highly sensitive person. Now, everyone's sensitive in different ways. For me personally, I feel things physically. So when I got my heart broken, I was physically feeling it in my chest. I physically felt like my heart was breaking. While other people might not feel it in their physical body, they might feel it in the environment around them. They might feel like the air shifts, or the air literally changes. Or you might not feel it physically, you might feel it emotionally. It might feel like a tidal wave of emotions just washing over you, and half those emotions don't even feel like yours. It just completely overwhelms you, completely drowns you. If you're sensitive mentally, it might just be these thoughts pouring in and overwhelming you. There's lots of different types of sensitive people, and we need to figure out what type of sensitive we are and start tapping into that and figure out how we're going to use that as a power instead. This pain that you're feeling is showing you a way to turn this into something better, turn this into a power, because your sensitivity is your strength. No matter what society or world or other people around you say, everyone right now is saying sensitivity is a weakness, but we need it right now. There are more empaths and sensitives on this planet than ever before, and I'm making this video for those of you, if anyone ends up finding it, that you have to keep staying in this emotion. You need to keep staying in yourself and in your energy, and not allow other people's awareness or opinions or logic come in and take away your emotions that you're feeling, because they do not understand. They do not feel the way you do, so do not listen to them. I'm not meaning to say, you know, if someone has advice to give you, sure, take it, but if it's not at your level of awareness, if they do not understand how sensitive you are and they're trying to take a logical approach on you, like the world often does, society has brainwashed everyone to be very logical and not sensitive, you're not going to respond to that very well, and it's just going to hurt you more. So I'm just telling you that you need to kind of have a guard up and protect your energy and understand that you are very sensitive, that other people around you might not be sensitive. And that can be really hurtful when you first find out that people aren't sensitive like you are. But we need to learn that this is our power, and everyone has different powers. And normally when you're sensitive, you attract people that aren't sensitive in the same way that you are. Especially in partners, you look for someone that to balance you out. You don't have two very emotionally sensitive people put together because it might just be too much. But when we break off or split from these people, we feel it a lot more than they might feel it. If they're a logical, spiritual person, they'll deal with it with their logic. If you're an emotional spiritual or intuitive spiritual, there's different types of spirituals, there's different types of sensitives. You will feel it a lot differently to them, and they will not ever understand what you're going through or what you're feeling, and that can be really frustrating and really lonely, especially when other people outside of that relationship don't understand what you're feeling either. And that's what I'm going through right now, of being very, very upset and not being able to tell anyone because no one really understands the levels of emotions that I'm feeling. And I feel ashamed for feeling this sensitive, for feeling all these emotions, because we live in a society where we're not allowed to be sensitive and we're not allowed to be emotional. And we are, it's seen as bravery to walk this earth and act all tough and cold and heartless all the time, but that's not true bravery. Bravery is being able to walk this earth with an open heart and to be able to love as intensely as you do. And only empaths and sensitives can do it. That is our power. There are more empaths on this planet than ever before because we need it. We cannot have any more cold, heartless, robotic people anymore. We need to start tapping into our sensitivity. We need to start tapping into our emotions and our feelings. And it can be really hard when we're going through something like heartbreak because other people will not feel it like we do. And I'm making this video specifically for those of you who are feeling it really intensely right now, because other people will just not understand. But I'm here to tell you that I know what you're going through. I know what you're feeling. And don't let anyone tell you that you are weak for feeling this. Don't let anyone tell you that you're being overly emotional or overly sensitive and that you have to grow up and get over it and stop being so pathetic. You're not being pathetic. This is your power to feel this intensity. I know it doesn't feel like a power right now. I know it makes you feel terrible right now. But to feel this pain means that you can feel this love. And love that other people just can't feel because they're not sensitive enough to feel it. And that's not me putting them down. They just haven't signed up for that in this lifetime to be this sensitive. If you don't know you're a sensitive, normally you can tell if you're hypersensitive to light or sound or energies, if you get easily drained by people, or just going out is really draining for you. That's kind of an indicator that you're a highly sensitive person. And when you get into a relationship with someone and you get heartbroken, you will know if you're sensitive or not. You will feel very, very intense emotions that your friends or your family might not understand why you're feeling like that because they're not at that level of awareness. There are more empaths on this earth right now, so I know that this video hopefully will help people, because we need to know that we will not get out of this the way other people do. We will not get out of it through logic, and if you try, you will destroy yourself. We need to start tapping into our emotions and tapping into that as our power, using our sensitivity as our superpower. And even if the whole world is looking at us like we're crazy, the whole world is looking at us like we're overly sensitive and overly dramatic and overly emotional, we keep being emotional because we need that on earth right now. We cannot have any more robotic, cold, heartless people anymore. We need to start tapping into our sensitivity and our emotions. And yes, it can be really tricky when you're with someone that isn't that sensitive or doesn't understand what you're feeling, but I'm here to remind you that it's okay. People are different. We're meant to feel differently. For those of us who are empaths, it is going to be harder. That's just how it is. But we've signed up to this. We've signed up to come here as sensitives, as empaths. We've signed up to come right now in this day and age in a world and in a society where being sensitive is frowned upon. And we are here to light the way for the future. The light of this new future where we are the light and the love, and the full embodiment of love though, not this low, superficial level of fake love that most people feel. Not many people feel true love on this earth. And that is a sad fact, but they're just not sensitive enough to feel this intense emotion of unconditional love. But another kind of side note to that is when we feel this unconditional love and then we lose this person, we can start guilt tripping ourselves. If we're getting really upset at them or really angry that they left and just really depressed, and that turns to anger, and that turns to resentment, and that turns to bitterness towards them, we might turn that back on ourselves and go, well, I thought I unconditionally loved him. I shouldn't be mad, I shouldn't be angry, I should be, all airy-fairy and unconditionally loving them, not being mad at them. But that's not what unconditional love is. You are allowed to be angry at someone that you unconditionally love. That is totally fine and totally normal. If you are telling yourself that you're not allowed to feel any other emotion but love towards this person, you're probably spiritually bypassing and saying, oh, I'm staying in love and light, and I'm staying, unconditionally loving them, and I'm not going to be mad at them. You need to process your madness, you need to process your anger, you need to process those feelings of bitterness and resentment, and you are allowed to feel like that towards that person if they've broken your heart. That's totally fine and totally normal. It doesn't take away your spiritual self, doesn't take away any of the work that you've done. You need to process all that, and you're allowed to be angry at them. And that was a reminder that I needed when I was going through it. I was guilt tripping myself for feeling mad at him because I was like, but I unconditionally love him, I need to stay in that frequency, I need to keep loving him. But I can love someone and still be mad at them for what they did. That's totally fine. So don't let people tell you that you're weak. Don't let people tell you that you're overly sensitive or overly emotional and that you have to get over it. Please just stay in your own awareness. Even if you are surrounded by people that don't understand you, make sure that you are centered in yourself and you understand that your sensitivity is your power, and allow yourself to feel those feelings. Do not let this logical world and logical society tell you that you're weak or you're wrong for feeling this way. You are completely in your right to feel this, especially if you're an empath or a sensitive. You are going to feel this very intensely, very deeply compared to other people, and they might not ever understand, but that's okay, because you know in yourself that your power in this life is sensitivity, and you need to keep tapping into that and tapping into it as a superpower, not as a weakness, not as a curse, but as a blessing. You are feeling this pain right now, and in time you will process that, and again you will feel that capacity to love again, and other people will never ever feel love like that. And that's why you have to make sure that you remember that. You remember how lucky you are to have this capacity to feel so intensely. Sometimes it hurts, sometimes it feels like a curse, but it is also a blessing to feel the other extreme of intense love and joy and bliss and happiness, that other people will just look at you and think that you're just this airy-fairy lunatic, because they could never possibly imagine to feel those levels of emotion. And that is your power, that is your sensitivity. That's why you are so in tune with your emotions and your feelings, because you are meant to process through this pain to then get to the bliss on the other side, to then get to that love. And if you have given so much love to people that haven't really taken it, or haven't taken it the way you wanted it, or they've walked out and left you, you can only give what you already have. So remember that. You cannot give someone love unless you have that within you. So the more you're giving out love, the more you realize how much love is inside of you. And as a sensitive person, you have so much love. You are to the brim with love. And you can just keep spreading that and keep sharing it. And the more you share it, the more you raise it in your own awareness that you have all this love within you. You have this power to love. Your power is love, literally. And other people might not understand that, other people might not feel it, other people might not resonate with that, and people might think you're too over the top, they might think you're too much because they can't handle it, because they're too logical and they don't like feeling this intensity, because maybe they're not meant to feel that intensity. But you keep feeling, you keep loving the way you're loving, okay? Keep loving the way you're meant to love, because this is what we need on this earth right now. So please, 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 don't let anyone put you down or make you change the way that you love or change the way that you feel. Just process through those feelings. Know in yourself, just keep telling yourself, sensitivity is my superpower, sensitivity is my superpower, and blessings will come to you. You will feel that joy and that bliss. You will get through that tunnel that is heartbreak, and you will find the light and bliss on the other side, because you have the capacity to feel it. You're feeling this pain right now, but you are strong enough to hold it. You are strong enough to carry this burden that other people wouldn't be able to carry. They don't even have the capacity to feel this pain, but you do, because you have the strength in you to feel it. I'm not saying that you're meant to carry your pain. Pain is never meant to be carried, but we are strong enough to handle this pain because we know on the other side we can feel those intense feelings of love, and that love will always come back. Love is never lost. I don't believe that anything can be lost. Lost does not exist in truth. And once you love, it expands out into the universe and just keeps on expanding outwards and outwards and outwards. And the more you love, the more you strengthen it in yourself, the more you strengthen it in the world around you, even surrounded by people who don't understand the love. You keep loving and get centered in that strength within yourself, in that power that you have, that power of love. So please don't forget that. And yes, I know heartbreak's really hard, and I'm going through it too. But just remember, sensitivity is your superpower.